What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and before we jump in, while this isn't mine, if you can just hit that subscribe button right here on my channel, it helps me out a lot. And in today's video, we're going to talk about, so this is the first the championship series and the first series of flagships that have OP-12 legal. Pre-structure deck, so this is pre-structure deck, but post OP-12. A breakdown on just the meta so far and what the first events are looking like, and it is kind of surprising. So you can kind of see here blue-purple Zoro, or this is blue-purple Luffy, and this is green Zoro. Green-purple Luffy gives you just kind of like an idea of representation, and then we look at top 4 is blue-purple Luffy, 3 Zoro, and our top 8 is 4 blue-purple Luffy, 3 Zoro, and then 1 Rayleigh, I believe. And then we get, yeah. And so we won't watch these just yet. May cover some of these later, but that was the lineup there. We're going to take a look, though, at all of these. So first off, this is Harada, which is an incredible account for us to look at. These are essentially the distribution of the recorded wins for flagships. And we see blue-purple Luffy still dominating. We're going to see green Zoro, Rayleigh, and purple Luffy all tied with 4, and blue Zon or Kuzan at 5. So Kuzan leading the pack. There's 3 unknown. One of these is Bonnie. We should have a Bonnie in here that we'll talk about, but we're going to talk about Zoro, Rayleigh, and then, of course, for those unfamiliar, oh, the other one was Zoro. This one wasn't Rayleigh. It was Zoro, because Zoro wins the spoilers. Zoro won the whole thing. But yeah, we see little Shanks, a lot of diversity overall. But again, blue-purple Luffy still being dominant here. We're not going to take a look at blue-purple Luffy lists. We're not going to do that. But we will look at a couple of the other things. So, first off, kind of looking at Kuzan. We don't really get a list here, but we see that they went 4-0 with a flagship. They played Rayleigh, Zoro, blue-purple Luffy, and we're able to beat all of those. We, of course, see here that they're playing the 8 Garp and then the 6. And then here's another one. This is just from a store. This is flagship Takeru. Is this the Takeru? But we see here the Kuzan. Again, kind of like an idea, but this is pretty straightforward. This 3 drop Goku is pretty huge. And then we see here, this one went 3-1. Again, not really many people sharing their lists that we can find. But let's talk about Rayleigh. So here we go. And again, another card shop that we're going to take a look at. The winner was Red Rayleigh. So Rayleigh is rising in popularity. And we see cards like Gum Gum Mole Pistol. And then we also see Zoro. We see this 2-cost Luffy. Maybe it's, you know... Great way to get like a pulse check on like the cards that may be relevant, but again, we really don't get their deck list here. But we are going to look at some. So here is one. They went 5-0. They beat blue-purple Luffy, black Lucci. They won the mirror. They beat a blue Kuzan, and they beat a blue-purple Luffy. Rayleigh is really looking to be like the new Bellow Betty, because Rayleigh's ability allows you to buff your own character, and then by revealing 2 events in your hand. And then you have a ton of events. Fiery Doll give you that extra boost, which is really interesting. That Mole Pistol, you of course play all of his events as well. These are all the hockeys. And then you play the new Luffy. We see Kid Killer here, a 1-of Vista, possibly for like some rogue things. And then we see Buggy, which makes sense. Buggy is one of the better cards. And then, of course, the new Boa. And then Sanji. So great to kind of pulse check on this. If you think you might play Rayleigh. Rayleigh's turning out to be better than we could have anticipated, which is huge. And we see like a huge common theme across the board. Again, we see one here. They have both cards, which means that they won. Rayleigh. We see Sanji again. So maybe it's a good idea to start picking up your Sanjis. the 3-cost Sanji because he is pretty cheap so far right now. And then here's another list. This one went for 1. But again, we're going to see these overlaps. No mole pistol this time, but we do see here the film event from OP-06, which I believe buffs you by 3,000 and then does another 1,000. I think that's what this does. Let me know in the comments below what this one does. But oh, we do see mole pistol. Here it is. Threw me off. Had me in the first half. And then we see like Nami Searcher and just the full like straw hat engine. And then of course we have the Rayleigh. And yeah. So this one again, like really showing up. A lot of recurring like it seems like there is like, you know, consistency. We're seeing the new Searcher. We're seeing Buggy. Like great. I think Buggy SPs have already started to go up in price. So again, here we have another Rayleigh flagship winner. These are, we've looked at 2 or 3 winners, almost all of the winners. There have been 4 noted so far. And we've got, again, like, you know, we're playing the full suite of Rayleigh events. So that's 12 Rayleigh events. 4 here. We play 3 Rush Zoro, which is probably one of the best cards you can play, arguably just because the stat line. This Luffy, I think, technically becomes like a 4/6. Yeah, all these, again, very similar. And then we look at, of course, Green Zoro, which is one of the highly anticipated lists so far. Here is Green Zoro taking down 1 flagship, you know, beating Green Purple Luffy. I'm not sure who that is. Green Zoro, maybe this is supposed to be Rayleigh. Black Lucci. And then here's an actual list. So we got Cabbage Patch, Mihawk, which are like the powerhouses of this. Who needs that Cabbage Patch reprint? Let me know. Let me know. I need that. We do see a 1 of, it looks like Saucy Bonnie, maybe a 1 of Smoker here. The new Tashigi, which is big. Paradise Waterfall, these cards have been flying off the shelves. So something to keep on your radar. Also the Tashigi, because this deck overall is pretty good and the least likely to get anything hit ban-wise and could really take off. But you see that, of course, the I'm Invincible event, the Hody event. And, yeah, no promo Zoro in this one. No promo Zoro in this list, but we do see Izo. And we, of course, have the Perona Searcher, which really helps carry the deck. And then, so there was a Bellow Betty. There was a Bellow Betty. This was a flagship. Bellow Betty is pretty straightforward after OP-11. We do see the addition of the new Shirahoshi. And I believe that they said it never came up yet. Never seen any Shirahoshi out game. Put it to 3. But they were able to pull out the win. And you see, of course, blue, purple. And then green, Bonnie. And then Lucci. And there was a Smoker. Smoker went X2. Still want a prize card, but I don't know if it's super notable. But it was something that, you know, I just wanted to put on your guys' radar. And then a list. But this one, Black Purple Luffy, finished X1. And then most notable is, of course, that they showcased that they're playing the new Nico Robin, which has blocker. And then I think draws you a card. Maybe does minus cost. I can't remember entirely, but I remember she gains blocker. And was really good. So they seem to also agree. It looks like they lost to Blue Purple Luffy, but then won all their other games. Then you had Marshall D. Stinky. We don't really see a list here, but this is pre-structure deck, so. And we look at Blue Purple Luffy and Bonnie. Again, an X3 list. I remember, yeah. Use Blue Purple Luffy. Yeah, I'm not super worried about that. But Marco, I think, was one of those. Stumbled across this while out here searching. Marco was a flagship, and we see here. Very similar, but they are playing that new Nico Robin, which is interesting. The Nico Robin from the structure decks. And we see, what is this? Koye Shoot, maybe? And Slave Arrow, I believe. So, and then 1 Honesty Impact. 2 here, and then the new Vista. The new Vista, which I believe is just a blocker. So, a lot of unique things happening here. I'm not sure what their ambition / like goal is. Outside of just like hard removal, because you play the Kuma, which you can trigger in KO, and you just minus in KO, and we play this Nico Robin, and then we play these. But yeah, Marco's long way to victory Very cool stuff. And there was a Nami that finished X1. Didn't play any Red Rayleigh. So maybe Red Rayleigh can beat it. But this, of course, getting the new girl promo soon, which will be playable. Could also bring this win rate up, but wanted that on everybody's radar. And finally, a Lucci. There was one Lucci winner, and we're taking a look at the Lucci here. You can kind of see very similar to still, like, we see King Cobra getting added in. We see still the Kuzan, and we see Jack at its core. Looks like, you know, of course, Blackbeard no longer a big problem. Maybe re-rises with the new structure decks. But yeah, let me know, what are you all playing in OP-12, and how do you all feel about the structure decks? And as always, if you found this content of value, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot, and I'll see you all in the next one.